school districts run hybrid differently. So in Montgomery County, we're probably the only school who runs a hybrid, but not a hybrid the way other schools run it. The hybrid in most school districts in Montgomery County is that they split their student population to come in on opposite days. The same teacher teaches the students whether they're in person or whether they're learning online at home that day. So it's different depending upon the school district. For example, Perk Valley, where my daughter is a junior this year, she is part of a cohort at the high school there. They have 3 cohorts. So they have an A day, a B day, and a C day. And twice a week, she goes in twice a week for 2 weeks. And then the third week, it's only 1 day, depending upon the rotation. The rest of the days she learns from home and with the same teacher she has. Okay, so that's one version. But in Solderton, we do things totally different. What we did in Solderton is we're probably, I'm going to say, thanks to our administrative team and our school board, leading the charge and bringing students back in person full time. Our parents at the beginning of the school year were given the option to either have their child learn online or return to school in person. And it ended up that about 73% of our parents send their students in person. That means in person every day. And about 27% said they're going to keep their children home and learn virtually online. But what we did in Solderton is we have 2 separate learning environments. In-person is taught by in-person teachers. Online is taught solely by online teachers. So the in-person teachers do not teach the online courses at all, with the exception of the high school. Now the high school, because of their block schedule, they were able to schedule teachers to teach half a day and then the other half a day online. So it worked out at the high school, but for the elementary students and the middle school students, they are 2 totally separate identities, okay? So with the in-person, they have a schedule. We run the traditional schedule like we always did. We had to do a lot of reshuffling. We team at the middle level, so we had to restructure the teams. Our building is definitely different than what you have seen in the past. We are fortunate to have classrooms that we can open up into bigger rooms. We've done that. We try to maintain 6 feet or longer distance between students in every classroom. Even in the hallways, we have those little circles that say socially distanced throughout the school, so that when students are in the hallway, either taking a mask break or working in groups, they have to maintain that social distance and wear the mask the entire time. So if you could imagine when kids first came back, they thought, well, we're back in school, it's going to be the same as always. Well, it was a rude awakening for a lot of the students. That first week, it was a challenge. 1, keeping their masks on. 2, keeping them socially distant. 3, having them have now assigned seats in the cafeteria, keeping social distance in the cafeteria, how they're going to serve food. Their learning environment totally changed because it's solely online now, even in person. Our information learning management system is called Schoology. All teachers teach courses from Schoology. They had to improvise their instruction to their Schoology accounts based upon their learning needs of their students. We have a very diverse population at the middle level and at the elementary level, and also at the high school, so it's a challenge. And students are required to log in daily. Attendance is taken daily. And our teachers do a really nice job because it's the teacher's responsibility to biospray their classroom at the end of every class. So at the end of every class, the students leave, teachers bring out their spray, they spray every desk, kids wait in the hallway till it's clear, then they come into the classroom. Lunch is totally different. In addition to using our cafeteria, we're using our auditorium, we're using the stage in the auditorium, we have outdoor tents in our courtyards that students sit in, we have to socially distant. After every lunch, our maintenance staff have to come in and clean the cafeteria after every. And that's just not the cafeteria. That means they have to clean the cafeteria, the auditorium, the outside tents, and the stage area within 20 minutes before the lunches change over. And our food staff have done an outstanding job with preparing lunches. The state made lunches free for all students. So it's amazing now that every student pretty much buys a lunch. And it's funny because you have the students who pack a lunch They look at their lunch, they see what their mother or father packed them, they close the lunch and they go up and get in line and buy the lunch or get the lunch for free. Or we have some kids who are bulking up, they eat their lunch and get a free lunch and eat the double lunch. So it is a unique experience, but there's a lot going on, like behind the scenes also with what we call contact tracing. We do have a number of students who are quarantining throughout the course of the year based primarily on their parents who are working, test positive, therefore they have to quarantine. A sibling comes home from college that tested positive, they have to quarantine. They're involved in outside sports in the community, they have to quarantine. And it's just a matter of each individual case. And the CDC guidelines and the Montgomery Department of Health have changed a little bit. So currently, there's a lot of different factors. We have some students that are quarantined up to 20 days because they live with the family member. We have other students who are quarantining for 10 days. And with the new rules now, after 5 days of quarantining, if you go get a test after 5 days and it comes back negative, you can return to school the next day. So we have to do all the contact tracing. Our nurse is doing an outstanding job. Our staff is doing an outstanding job. It goes down to the teachers. This was a big change for everybody. I think we've adjusted and I think we're getting better. Sometimes I think we get a little complacent because we're getting used to the situation now. We have to keep reminding everyone, hey, we're still in a pandemic. We still have to follow CDC guidelines and we still have to keep pushing like we've been pushing. And when the kids quarantine, just so you know that when they have to stay home, the teachers that are in person, they set up through their Schoology accounts the work for students to complete while they are quarantining at home. So we have two separate academies going. Catherine Heller, Dr. Catherine Heller, who is the assistant principal with me at Indian Valley, she is now the online principal. We have Abe Hughes, who's joined me from the high school as an assistant principal. And all our elementary schools and our sister middle school are all following the same program. The only difference is the schedule online is different than the schedule that we have in person. But all in all, I would say the students are adjusting and have adjusted rather quickly. It was a little more challenging for us as a staff to adjust, including myself, because it takes some time to get used to keeping up to date with all the guidelines, calling a lot of parents, answering a lot of questions, trying to answer questions and find answers that I didn't have answers to. I thank our board and also our administrative team at district office for the work that they've been doing. I know it's a constant looking at things and looking ahead and thinking of what we can do down the pike. We've hired a number of teachers to make this work. And now at the middle level and the secondary level at the high school, coming up at the end of January, parents had the ability to transition their children back to in-person from online and also from in-person to online if they've selected to do so. So right now at the building where I work, we have approximately 46 students returning from the online academy. It's about currently, I'm going to say, of our online academy, I'm going to say 23% overall from elementary and secondary level that chose now to come back in person. So all in all, we're making it work as best we can. As you know, school is a whole different facet than the regular community. We try to run activities socially distanced. All our meetings are not in person. We do everything virtual in the building, even though we're still in the building. We have virtual meetings. The athletics is in full swing once again. I feel sorry for our basketball teams because they have to wear a mask while playing. Even our wrestlers, we're running our wrestling program and they still have to wear a mask while they're wrestling. No spectators are allowed at the wrestling matches as of yet because they haven't started, but basketball, we're allowed one spectator per family. For the home team, that's it. Keeping up to date with the athletic mode of things and the educational realm of things, it's a constant battle. But we roll with it. We're thankful for every day we have to be here. It's good to see the kids in person. It's good to see each other in person. My wife is envious of me because I do come into work. She's stuck at home working for the company she works for, dealing with my daughter and my son who's home from college and 2 dogs. So I feel bad for her, but I look forward to getting out of the house. So, it is unique. It is a learning curve for all of us. I will say this. in coping with things. I found very good food that I take part in. I would say since the pandemic, I put on about 27 pounds. So you see me next time in person, I'll be a little bit more plump. But right now, that's the way it is in the educational world. And talking to our middle level colleagues across the Montgomery County, we have our meetings once a month. Everyone's going through some similar things. It's the contact tracing, it's the constantly keeping up with the COVID, trying to keep the spread of COVID down. But we're moving forward and trying to get our students educated as best as we possibly can. So that's just pretty much it, summed up in a nutshell. I'm very grateful to work for the school district that I work for. I love working in Solderton. The people here are fantastic. I give a lot of credit to also our parents. Our parents have been phenomenal. If they do take a trip, they quarantine. They call us up as soon as the child is sick and they get getting their children tested. Our students also have been very good at saying, hey, we're sick, and very upfront and honest about what's been happening. But as you know, everyone they're still students. They still do some, I'm going to say some crazy things at times. And it still happens even though we're in the middle of a quarantine. So that's a quick summary of what's going on in the world of education.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, thank you for your service. I know that a lot of the things that we do, that we don't think as of administrators of teaching our kids as a service organization or what you guys do. As service, I want to thank you for your service. My wife's a former teacher for 20-something years, and I know that you guys are definitely a dedicated group.
Hey, this is Jeff. This is Marcia. I have to commend you for still smiling at the end of your chat.
Definitely.
Oh, we have to. You have to take it like every morning. We have a meeting this morning now, the school counselors, myself, the assistant principal, about students transitioning back. But we also had to do a quarantine contact tracing thing the other day. So we have to follow up on that with our nurse. And then that gets reported to Montgomery County. So those are some things we just have to deal with in the realm of a typical day. You never know what the day is going to be like. You get a call from a parent, our parent sends an email that their son or daughter tested positive, or their husband tested positive, or they tested positive, and then the whole wheel starts spinning.
Jeff, have you had many teachers really take a retirement because they just were exhausted and sort of couldn't deal with more change and things like that? Have you noticed that?
No, we have had no one retire. The teachers that teach the online academy, Marcia, they were given the choice because of either a disability that they may have or a condition they have to be online and teach online and instruct online. So our online staff had the choice to do that. They weren't appointed. So once those online staff were selected, because we had a number of people selected, then we chose to hire long-term substitutes for their positions in the building. So we have had no retirements since then. Now we've had a few had to take I call it the COVID leave for a number of days because of things that were going on with either within their family or some type of disability or ailment, but that was only for a very short period of time, nothing lengthy. But we'll see at the end of this year, some people say, hey, they're going to retire. But I am not retiring, Marcia.
Okay. Well, we need you to run the 4-way test. So you got to stick around and not move someplace.
I have another daughter yet to get through college.
Yeah. Thanks, Jeff.
I have a question there, Jeff. With all the change, how are the kids dealing emotionally? Do you have support for their emotional state?
And I'm glad you brought that up. That's a big thing right now, the social and emotional component of children, parents, staff, because it's a challenge. And the whole isolation factor is starting to take its toll. We see a definite increase in social and emotional things that our counselors are working on, our outside agencies are working on. And it's all part of our, we have an advisory block that we run. And in that advisory block, we tend to focus on the social and emotional component of being in the in-school environment, but yet dealing with the pandemic in a specific way that would make people feel not the gloom of things.
Okay. All right.
But that is
Hey.
a big thing.
Jeff, this is Mark. I had a question. I know at the beginning of the school year, it was an absolute nightmare with parent responses and delays in announcing what was happening. And I felt more sorry for y'all than anything. You were in the crosshairs and there was no way to please people. How has parent support and parent how have parent attitudes moved over that time?
I think we've changed more towards, I don't want to say accepting and being comfortable of the situation, but knowing more of the whole situation of the pandemic. I think the greater understanding has eased a lot of the angst that we had in the beginning of the year from our parents. But even in the beginning of the year, we had very high parent participation, and we still have that now. Like when we have an event such as we have our picture day, we had a number of parents who volunteered to come in and help run our picture day. We have
Cool.
our online academy, which is called the Southern Area Online Academy, SAOA. We do our monthly pickup. We have teachers that are on the online academy come in. Parental support is always been good in our district. And I will say there's still a difference of opinion though, Mark, but I think the angst has calmed down considerably, knowing now that what we know about it with the vaccine on the horizon, how to quarantine, and maybe, I don't want to say accepting it, but knowing we have to do what we need to do to get through it.
Yeah, well, you guys have just done a phenomenal job of riding through that and coming out where you're at now. So props to you.
Oh, thanks. But it's not me, it's the staff, it's the kids, it's the whole,
everyone, the team.
Yeah, everything goes back to the community. I've always said that. In a school district, everything goes back to the community. And we're fortunate to live in the community we live in.
Definitely. Any other questions? All right. Thanks a lot, Jeff. We really appreciate all you do for the community. And I see a few reactions. Thanks once again for your presentation. And we have so many great members with occupations that may not, on the surface, it may not seem very exciting, but I'd like for you guys to think about doing a presentation similar to what Jeff did. In the past, we did, what was it called? The talks that we would have.
Classification talks.
Classification talks, yes. Thank you, Gary. It doesn't have to be a full out classifications talk about your family and all that. It could just be about how you are surviving through this period. What comes to mind actually is one of your parents, Jeff, Valerie. Valerie, would you be interested? I'm going to put you on the spot on doing something in the future to schedule with Mark to do a presentation on
Dan,
that.
I've already been private messaging her and lining that up.
Okay,
so we're good.
All right. I have a bad habit of doing that. Sorry.
Anyway,
yeah,
no
I
problem.
need to go.
All right.
Somebody's in the back.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
Jeff.
All right, I'll see everybody later. All right, bye-bye.
Definitely. Great job. Great job. But definitely there are so many great stories that we can explore just to engage with each other.
Hey, Dan, how about you being in the technology field and running a lot of Zooms? Why don't you think about you? I mean, I know you do a lot of talking here for the club meetings anyway, but I think you would have an interesting story.
Okay, sure.
Not to volunteer you, but
I could do that.
My world's not that exciting.
It really is because, well, I mean, your world is exciting because of what you do. I know you've done in the past couple of months signs for, we have to have those signs for stay 6 feet apart, socially distant, all that kind of stuff that you guys been doing. So I would say yes, I would do it, but only if you do it.
Okay.
Butch and Cassidy, right?
Yeah. Okay. Which one are you?
Okay. I don't know. I don't know.
All
Or is
right.
that Thelma and Louise? Which one?
Yeah.
Which one jumped off the cliff? I don't.
I don't want to be the driver.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So
Lois, no, who's in charge of these
that's
speakers?
Mark.
Oh, Mark. Okay. So sign us up and let us know.
Right. All
Got
right.
it.
There we go. So today we do have about a half an hour left. And I was thinking if we could do breakout sessions. And Mark, I know we kind of moved it from a meeting where we actually had a topic. Do you have an essential question or something that we should go into the breakout session, do maybe 15 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, break out, we discuss, and then maybe do a second?
Can I be selfish on this?
Sure.
What about talking about just favorite speakers from the past and making some recommendations for the future?
That's good. That's good. All right. So, I didn't set up the breakouts. Let me set that up real quick. We had 28 people on. So how about 6, which makes it about 4 to 5 in each group. And I have 727. As you guys get into your group, just you already know each other. So just, I guess, start talking about your favorite presenters. And then we'll come back at 7:42. Make it 7:42. Talk for a few minutes, then go back a second time. Different group. All right. See you guys in about 10 minutes. Create. There we go. All right. And I'm going to log out of YouTube. So that's going to stop recording. See you guys in 10 minutes. Stop recording. YouTube.